Hey, welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson, a.k.a. Uncle Tex, a.k.a. Professor Tex. Before we start, smash that like button, subscribe to the page. Any questions, concerns, anything you want to talk about, leave it down there in the comments below. And, I'll get back with you. I'm going to jump in this right now. Yeah, Russell Wilson is playing like some garbage right now. Okay? I saw some throws that he should have made. I saw some first down throws he should have made instead of trying to go deep because they fell behind so early in that game against that of the Rams and whatnot. True indeed. Give him that. He got that. He got to own that. As we well know by now, the coach, I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head, he got fired, and I knew that was going to happen. Sean Payton may take over that spot, even though I see where if anybody needs to be fired, it needs to be Cliff Kingsbury, one of the best. Actually, as a matter of fact, I got a screensaver of him now. Using the screensaver of his pad of that 2020 draft, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Gorgeous pad there in Arizona. But yeah, he needs to be gone as well. Certain things is not working out with them guys, but that particular coach, he definitely needs to be gone. He definitely needs to be gone. Nathaniel Hackett, he can go. And all that. He definitely needs to go. You say that Broncos fired Nathaniel Hackett's been a 4-11 season. They look terrible. Some games, about 4 or 5 games, I know they actually should have won. Whether that would have gotten them in the playoffs or not, that's irrelevant. You have to take charge of your team and do what needs to be done and whatnot. But he'll get a job. He'll land on his feet somewhere or another. A lot of people sitting there talking about that of Russell Wilson and whatnot. And let's go ahead and talk about that. I've talked about this before. I've had several shows. I've told you guys part of that goes back to that of the 2020 season when they actually won the West. If I'm not mistaken, they won the West. They went 12-4. I think they lost in the first round. Russell Wilson went for his biggest season as a pro, 4,212 yards, 40 touchdowns, only 13 picks. It was not 12-4. I think the year before that, he might have made All-Pro second team. 9th Pro Bowl last year. So all of a sudden, this guy's garbage. I'm seeing all of these big shot guys on ESPN, NFL Network talking shit about Russell Wilson. Well, like I said, Russell Wilson not having a great year. I get it. 107, 63, and 1. 60 is his completion ratio as a pro is 60.1. Oh, this is just the average of what he does. This man has thrown 304 touchdowns and 96 picks. Okay, y'all got to give it up to that. We know how he came into the league, what happened, Matt Flynn, and the whole 9 yards of that. He's won the 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1. He's been to 9 Pro Bowls. Right? Y'all want to talk about Pro Bowls? I'm gonna get into Pro Bowls later on the next show, and I've already talked about that. But this is the thing that I'm talking about. Whether or not he's going down or not, one of the main things that bothers me about the whole situation at hand is that you have these guys talking this stuff about as if quarterbacks was not horrible in their first years or whatever in last years and whatnot, whether it be Kenny Anderson, any of them guys, right? Who ain't even in the hall. But let's do this here. I'm going to go to Johnny Unitas, who's the king of the quarterbacks is supposed to be or was for many, 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 many years and whatnot. You get back to where he was at. His last year at 34 years old with Baltimore, 11-1 and 2. They tied 2 games. That's when they played. 58.5%. He actually led the league with that of the completion ratio. 3,428 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 16 picks. He was still first team All-Pro and he went to a Pro Bowl. Nobody says anything about from ages 35 to 40, right? Even down in 1970, 10, 2, and 1, 51%, 2,213. I think it was sharing time with Earl Morrell and whatnot. And 14 touchdowns and 18 picks. He didn't see another Pro Bowl from age 35 to age that of from 1973. And we talk, and I'm not going to go into a lot of that because really that was at 1970, 10, 2, and 1. That was the last year that he actually played in 10 games. I look at it if you at least play double-digit games, okay? And he did not finish his career off the way you would think he would. If you go back, look at some of the NFL films, you see these guys actually falling down. He's in a San Diego Chargers jersey, wearing 19, which he should have been wearing 19, but I guess he would give 19 because he's Johnny Unitas, and that should have already been basically retired because Lance Alworth wasn't there no more. He was with Dallas. He threw a 75-yard touchdown pass, I think, to John Mackey in Super Bowl V and whatnot, and everything. But you look at his yards, not much to talk about. Let's go to John Elway. John Elway got 9 Pro Bowls. So does Russell Wilson. Right? He did win an MVP, 2-time Super Bowl champ, Player of the Year, Hall of Famer, all that stuff. Yeah. This, that, and the third. But if we get right down into the dirtiness of it, of course, he had this, he had that. Really not that much of a losing record for the 10 games. And his last 3 years, he won a lot of games and whatnot, even though he didn't play that much in that of his last year. But he still was the quarterback of that team and whatnot, did what he needed to do. Terrell Davis is the reason. I've said this a million and one times before. We all know what happened with that. Russell Wilson, who came from a team who basically had 2 nice wide receivers. Can anybody show me anywhere where anybody, and leave it in the comments below for those that want to check that out. Please explain to me where is it where Denver was supposed to be this juggernaut of a team is all we need is a quarterback. They've been a sorry team. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2016. We have to talk about that. Dan Fouts, one of my favorite quarterbacks. If you look at Dan Fouts in his second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, Dan Fouts didn't start really making dividends and being that guy that we do with Dan Fouts at the Hall of Famer until 1978 at age 27. 9-5, 12-4, 11-5, 10-6, 6-3. Strike short the season. How did he finish out, though? After 83, 5-5 on 10 games that he started out of 14. 6-7, 7-5, 3-9, 5-5, and whatnot. 86 and 84. Go back and look at Russell Wilson stuff. If we're going to be fair about this whole situation and whatnot, it wasn't again 107 and 63. Okay. Dan Fouts. Steve Young, you look at what went on with him. Steve Young didn't start really getting it on until age 31. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, come on, man. Almost 6-7 years before he started doing anything from age 24 to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31. 6-7 years. And he ended up stopping at everything. 2 MVPs. He won the Super Bowl and whatnot. Not really trying to compare. But at the same time, I was like, if we want to just talk about numbers, 94, 49, and 0. Super Bowl victory and whatnot. Come on, man. Stop it. Roger Staubach. Let's go to Roger Staubach. Staubach, who got drafted basically in 64, 65, if I'm not mistaken, due to the fact of the Vietnam War and whatnot and everything. And we know what he basically did with that team there. 85 and 29. Something that Dak Prescott, which I'll get back to a little bit later, for all those Dak haters we got out there and whatnot. 85 and 29. 2 Super Bowls that he won. Never made an All-Pro team. However, I think he's a 6-time Pro Bowl, 2-time Super Bowl champ, and whatnot. Let's keep moving. Snake, Ken Stabler. Stabler was done in 1980 at age 35. 11-5. He threw only 13 touchdowns and threw 28 picks. Got to talk about that. Russell Wilson is in single digits as far as interceptions are concerned. Please tell me, where is it that Russell Wilson is a horrible quarterback? Is he having a bad year? Yes. Last year, he was a Pro Bowler. I'm going to go back to Russell Wilson again. I'm going to keep going back to that. Last year, in 2021, 6-8, he missed some games due to an injury. He still made the Pro Bowl, almost 65%, 3,113 yards, 25 touchdowns, 6 picks. 2 games left. Did he miss some throws yesterday? Yes. He had 15 right in the flats, right in front of him. He tried to go heavy. He had another guy, number 14, had him. He tried to go to a tight end in the corner of the end zone, and Jalen Ramsey made him pay. I'm not excusing what he did in any of that. But let's look at the numbers. Like I tell you guys, numbers online get emotional. People do. Okay? Again, those guys can't even touch him. Terry Bradshaw, only 3-time Pro Bowl. People don't realize this. He won the Super Bowl 4 times. Them first two. Come on, man. Yeah, man. I mean, numbers not even close to that. Now, Terry Bradshaw's 107-51. Bradshaw really didn't start making his real bones, say 72. And he didn't even have a great year. He really didn't start making his bones until 70, his Hall of Fame bones, until the season of 75. When he went 12-2, 2,055, 18 touchdowns, 9 picks. And y'all can give him that in 78, giving him that was 14-2, 28 touchdowns. He led the league, and he also threw 20 picks. Russell Wilson, I don't even think ever had. Let's go back. Give me 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. So far, only out of 4 years, he's 34 years old. He did a lot of his work early. You cannot discredit him for that. Fran Tarkenton, a 9-time Pro Bowl, the same as Russell Wilson already. He made his 9th Pro Bowl at age 36. Russell Wilson is 34. Got it. So these things happen when these quarterbacks start aging. Go that to Drew Brees. All the yards, everything. The less of 10 starts. 8-8, 2-9. 9-7, decent record, 7-9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 losing seasons that Drew Brees got, which is why he is not in the Mount Rushmore where everybody want to ask that. Russell Wilson has his best receivers with the two, with Lockett and that of an old big boy. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And I'm doing this based on the fact that if we're going to talk about this, let's truly talk about this. Okay? Kurt Warner. Well, I'm sorry. Warren Moon. Haywood Jeffries. Ernest Givens. I mean, dude, it's not even fair. You can't discredit what he did as that of a younger quarterback. You can't discredit that. 102 and 101. Almost 50%. Barely. Okay? Let's keep moving. Let's go to Brett Favre. Brett Favre, okay? Not that fair of a comparison. A couple of, about 2 or 3 MVPs, if I'm not mistaken. But come on, man. 3-time All-Pro. Russell Wilson, second team All-Pro, and whatnot. I'll even go to John Elway. 9-time Pro Bowler, never made a first team, and made that of, I want to say, an MVP over Randall Cunningham, which he should have never gotten. These guys are talking shit about Russell Wilson being a stud quarterback. Again, go back to the 2020 season. Let's go back to the 2020. If we're going to be fair, if we're going to play this fair, play it fair now. What happened? As soon as he started asking for help, they wanted to run him out of town. And you're going to tell me Geno Smith is better than Russell Wilson? Get the fuck out of here, man. Y'all have lost y'all fucking mind. Geno Smith, 7 and 8. They still might not even make the playoffs. Won't even make the playoffs, probably. It's a possibility that they will not make the playoffs. Then what? 1-time All-Pro. Jets. New York. The Chargers. And now he's been with that of the Seahawks. He hasn't done anything remotely close to that of anything Russell Wilson with 10 starts with a 7 and 8 record. Go to Kirk Cousins, who's always been blessed for having decent receivers on his squad. Now he's playing with Jefferson, who is the best wide receiver in the game right now. Let's look at his record. And he gets props. Y'all know I beat him up. But he gets props for this past year. But come on, what did he finish with? What is this? 71 and 62. Because of this year. I say take Jefferson away from him, he ain't got nothing. So what are we talking about here? I've said this before and I'll say it again. Yes, Russell Wilson is playing like some garbage this year. Also, when you go back to the system that he's running, where he's at, where he's in, can anyone leave it down in the comments? Please explain to me, where was it that the Denver Broncos were supposed to be any good this year and all they needed was a quarterback? I will wait. I'll wait. I will wait for the explanation. There is no explanation. They don't have that. You're talking about a organization who got rid of the best defensive player they had of all time, and y'all got rid of him, sent him to a place where he went and got a Super Bowl ring. But everything Russell Wilson's fault. Or the coach's fault. No. Talking about having a bad year, his worst year as a pro, and let it alone. Don't let me start talking about Josh Allen and what he's done or not done in the interceptions he's thrown. Don't let me start talking about Dak Prescott, because I'm going to talk about that. For all you fucking Philly fans and all you jokers about that, talking that mess. And don't tell me there isn't a biasness against one against the other. and how they don't want black quarterbacks to be face of the franchise or face of the league, because it's always the quarterback that is the face of these particular things. Okay? So, like I tell you guys, all the time, there is no GOAT, there's no greatest of all time. We saw the GOAT last night. Arizona gave that game away. They had them beat. They kept coming back, kept giving them opportunities, and of course, he's going to do what he's going to do. But nobody want to talk about Leonard Fournette and that big run that he made. If it's not for that fumble, the game's over with. If it's not for that fumble, the game is over with, and we're not even really having much of a discussion. Tell you guys all the time, there's no GOAT, there's no greatest of all time, as long as time's still going on. And like I say, numbers don't lie and get emotional. People do. I shall be back.